for the webinar and or coming back from lunch.
Just give it another minute or so. I'm waiting for the green light. Great. Okay, let's kick off. So hopefully everyone can see my screen that I'm presenting. I'm a bit new to this technology of presenting the webinar, so fingers crossed it all goes okay. Welcome to another in our webinar series, our Quill webinar series, and today we're looking at online payments for law firms. And I'm joined here today with our partner, Legl. So today we're looking at the partnership between Quill and Legl and how we're enabling practices to take online payments. Now, sorry. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to cover today, a bit of an introduction to Quill and Legl, who we are and what we do. Lauren's then going to talk about some best practices around taking digital payments. I'm then going to just dive straight in and give you a demonstration of how Quill integrates with the Legl payment solution. And then Lauren's going to pick it up at the end to talk about how you can sign up and the process there. So before we get going, just some housekeeping. The webinar is being recorded. And the recording and summary deck will be available and sent to all participants after the webinar. If you have any questions, if you could just type them in the chat as we go along, and then we'll either pick them up during the call or we'll sweep them all up at the end. But do use that online chat. It's quite helpful for people to see the types of questions that are being asked. Okay, so quick introductions. I'm Harry McHarry. I'm from Quill and I'm the Product Development Director. So I'm responsible, or me and my team are responsible for understanding legal practices challenges and helping to provide the solutions to enable your practices to work efficiently. And I'm joined by Lauren Watson from Legl. So maybe Lauren, you could just give us a bit of an introduction to yourself.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Harry. So my name's Lauren. I'm the director of the legal partnerships team here at Legl. My role is really working with firms across the UK, and that ranges from the kind of top 200 firms to boutique law firms and kind of high street practices. And my role is really to understand how best we can help law firms to improve cash flow, to basically improve some of the business operations, and to really get a picture of data and insight and understanding across the business so that you can grow your businesses and be more effective and more efficient.
Great, thanks, Lauren. So just to focus on Quill a bit, for those that don't know us, we focus on helping you manage your practice the smart way. So we are proudly independent and we have a lot of expertise in the area of dealing with legal practices. We are a one-stop shop for all of your firm's needs. So we help you manage your practice, your cases, your document files, and your accounts, not only providing solutions, product solutions, but also providing you with services. And we proudly represent over 750 law firms across the UK. So what we were looking for in a partner was somebody who would focus on the client experience, the clients of the legal practice, and to provide solutions that were more client-facing. So that's why we approached Legl to form a partnership. They've got some great client experiences from making client onboarding more efficient, getting payments in faster, and their tools really focus on that digital-led world that everybody expects now. So maybe I could just hand over to you, Lauren, and you could just give us an overview of all your solutions.
Thanks, Harry. I think you summarized it quite nicely there with the client experience focus. So everything that we do at Legal is designed to help law firms deliver a best-in-class firm branded client experience. And the benefits, obviously, of optimizing your client experience are that clients can have a really seamless and frictionless experience of interacting with your law firm. And at Legal, we cover the digitization of those touch points with clients across the client life cycle. And that is everything from how you take payments from clients to how you interact with them in the context of onboarding and ongoing mass management. And so as Harry kind of alluded to there, we very much focus around the best-in-class technology that's client-facing. So we'll go through this in more detail later on in the webinar, but we're focusing the discussion today around payments, and that includes payments via digital wallets. We'll discuss the kind of latest in the card scanning technology, and really the objective here is to just give clients the level of experience and the digital first experience that they've come to expect, particularly off the back of the last 18 months where everyone expects to be able to do everything from the comfort of their own home at the click of a button.
Great, thanks, Lauren. So really it covers a very wide range of client experiences, but as Lauren said, we're going to focus on the payments today. And Lauren's just going to talk a bit about the best digital payment practices that Legal provides solutions for.
So I think some of you may be familiar with this already. We'll cover this in a bit more detail shortly, but essentially what Legal provides you with is a firm branded checkout. Now, what you do with this checkout is very much up to you, but we give you some recommendations about the most effective way for managing digital payments at your firm. So most of the law firms that we work with have the payments checkout on their website, because client behavior is increasingly going to the website to access information, to make payments, to interact with your law firm. We also provide you with this link which will direct people to the checkout. So if you want to, for example, send out an invoice with a link to pay, or you want to have a payment link in your email signature block, it's just about providing a really quick and frictionless way for clients to make payments when they're just interacting with you in their kind of day-to-day. And then finally, we'll also be discussing generating these unique payment request links for clients later on. And really a payment request link just is a checkout that's pre-filled for the client. So instead of landing on the checkout, writing in the information about their name, their email address, the amount that they need to pay, what you're effectively delivering to your clients here is a firm branded experience where the information in the checkout has already been filled in for them. So literally they can pay with the touch of a button. So in terms of the digital payments world, what's really key is thinking about all the different ways that your client might try and make a payment, whether that's visiting your website, whether that's via the invoice, whether it's via the kind of email interaction with your client, and just making sure that you're supporting your client there with really quick and simple ways for them to make payments. And the obvious knock-on effects of making it really quick and simple for your clients to pay is that they pay their bills much quicker, they put money on account much quicker, and that in turn helps your firm to really have a really strong cash flow position.
Great, thanks, Lauren. And here we've got an example. So Lauren, maybe you could talk through, this is a combined client. They use Quill as a product, and they're also a legal client. So Lauren, maybe you could talk around the website here.
Yeah, so what GN Law have done here is they've basically created a page on their website called Make a Payment. They've then got their firm branded checkout, which you can see on the right here, which they have embedded into this page on their website. Now, GN Law joined the previous webinar that we did to kind of talk to some of their experiences that they've had partnering with Legal. But really, the important thing here is that the client experience is all firm branded and designed to give the client the quickest and simplest payment options. So one thing that I thought might be useful to kind of share with everyone on the call is what that client experience actually looks like as the client makes a payment. So I'm just going to share my screen very quickly just so I can run you through in a minute exactly what the client would experience. So This here is a firm branded checkout that we would build for your firm. Now, I've used just Legl Co here, so a fictitious company branding here, but your firm's branding will go in here. And essentially what we do is build this checkout according to your requirements. So if you need to, for example, collect an invoice number, we can have a field in here for that. If you need to collect multiple different fields here, so you might want to collect a matter reference number and a client ID number, for example, we will build this checkout to make sure that it meets all your requirements in terms of having the information to reconcile that payment. So this checkout here, you can either embed it in your own firm's website, you can link out to it in invoices, you could have a link to it in your email signature, as we kind of discussed earlier on. But essentially, the client just enters their name, their email, any unique identifier here, and the amount that needs to be paid. And once the client's entered in that information, they just click continue here, and they have the option to pay by manually entering in their card information. So they just type in their card information here, or they have the option to pay using a digital wallet. And so for those of you who aren't familiar with the digital wallet, in the example here, it's coming up as Apple Pay because I'm on a Mac, but it could be Google Pay or Samsung Pay. And essentially the digital wallet just holds your client's card and enables them to pay using Face ID if they're on an iPhone, or using their fingerprint, so that they can very quickly and seamlessly control the payments that they're making, but to do so without having to manually enter in that information. So if they were to just enter in their card information themselves here, they just enter that here, click confirm card payment. What this green circle here represents is strong customer authentication. So if you've ever bought something on Amazon, or you've done your Tesco shop online, you'll know that you're often asked to confirm that you wanted to make that payment with NatWest or Santander or Barclays or whoever you bank with. And that just makes a really seamless process there for the client in terms of verifying that it is them that wanted to make the payment. So once the client's finished the process, they're brought to a successful confirmation page, and really importantly, they're automatically emailed a firm branded email which has the receipt and shows the client exactly how this is going to appear on their bank statement. So just a very quick kind of overview there. Oh, I've turned my camera off by accident. Just a very quick overview there of the client experience. And one thing to mention is that this is optimized across all the different types of devices that your client might be using. So if they want to make a payment on their mobile, for example, they can do that. It's all optimized on a mobile experience, and they can also scan their card on the mobile, so they can just hold their card up against their camera and it will pull in all the card details for them. It's all just very small kind of things that are designed to really delight your clients and make it as simple as possible for them to make a payment.
Great, thanks, Lauren. I think I'm still sharing my screen. Okay, so just to reiterate, this is about taking any payment to any account at any time, so at any stage in that matter. So you might need money on account up front for search fees. You might want client funds for court fees, or funds to pay company's house. You might be taking part payment for an interim bill. And you might be doing a bill payment at the end of a matter, for matter closure. So this solution can be used at any stage. It's not just about receiving payment for that final bill.
One thing, Harry, I don't think you're sharing your screen. I think when I started sharing my screen, you stopped.
Right, I do apologise. Bear with me. Thank you for that. There, am I back?
You're back.
Brilliant. Okay, sorry guys, that's just what I talked through. Any payment, any account, any time, at any stage. So let's just dive in. What I'm going to show you is the integration between Quill and Legl. It's not been released yet. We are on target to release it within the next 2 weeks. And also what to explain is that I'm showing you this within our new Quill experience, which is currently coming to the end of the beta program. I think there are some beta users here today on the webinar, so you'll be used to the look and feel. Those who are using Interactive at the moment, The same functionality will be available within Interactive from launch, but I'm just showing you the screenshots today from the new Quill experience. So here we are. You're working on a case and you're within the money area. So that means that you've immediately got all of that financial information about the case at your fingertips. Once you are set up with legal, and we'll cover at the end how you go about setting up with legal, you will get two new options within the money area. Wherever you see go to legal, that is your way of getting directly into your legal account within the legal solution itself. And you won't have to log in again. It's seamless integration, secure integration into your legal world. The payment request is the option to actually create payment requests from the case itself. You'll also notice that from within this area, you can immediately raise e-chits. So if you'll be needing to raise e-chits to match those payment requests, you can do it directly from within here. So once you decide to create a payment request, you click on the link and you come into the new Create Payment Request screen. And we're trying to give as much information as we can on the screen. So initially, it's going to default to your main primary contact on that case. And the important thing here is that that primary contact will have been through your AML checks. So there's additional security that you're going to get this email to the right person. So a secure email there. You are able to change this if you need to send it to somebody else. You can enter your payment amount. It will automatically default to your case code, which is really important, so that when you're receiving any information about that payment request, you can tie it to the right case immediately. There's also a field where you can put in a bill number or an invoice number, and really that's any unique reference number that you want to use for that payment request to help you reconcile those payments when they're coming back in and through your bank reconciliation process. You can select which account you want that payment to be made to, whether it's your client or office account. And just a note there that those are the accounts that you will set up with legal when you create your legal account. So you might want to bear in mind giving those similar names to the ones that you use within your account, your Quill accounting solution, so that people know which account to select from. So that's
one thing, Harry, just to jump in there, is that just to kind of reiterate that point, is that you can have multiple bank accounts attached with legal. So if you want to take payments directly into your client account, let's say it's the beginning of a conveyancing process, you want to take £500 from the client to kick that matter off, you can direct those funds straight into your client account, and those funds will be received whole into your client account. So if the client sends you £500, you will receive £500 into your client account, and we will invoice you separately at the end of the month for the payment processing fees attached in aggregate. So there's no kind of issues from an accounting perspective here. If your client pays you £500, you'll receive £500. You can also attach other bank accounts. So if you wanted to have your office account attached and direct invoice payments straight into your office account, that's very easy and simple to do. And this whole experience is really designed for law firms and the nuances of running accounting practices for law firms.
Great, thanks for that, Lauren. Okay, so you've entered all the information and you're happy with that. So you want to go ahead and actually generate your unique individual payment link. So this is the screen where the link has been generated and you're able to copy that to the clipboard so that you can use it in an email to send to your client. So now we're back on the case and you can see that you can see all payment requests for that case. And again, it's within the whole context of that case's financial information. So you're able to raise any e-chits or check any ledgers or do any postings from there. In terms of the link, you've copied that link to the clipboard. So you're able to generate your emails, which might be using your own practice templates for maybe money on account or engagement letters or bills. However you're going to use it, you can paste that individual link into an email. When the client clicks that link in the email, as Lauren demonstrated before, they're going to be taken to an individualized checkout for that specific payment request within your company branded checkout. So there's no confusion about entering the wrong matter reference number or the wrong amount, and the client can pay.
If I may jump in here just to do a screen share again, just to show the difference of what that checkout will look like. So if I just share my screen again. So the last time that I shared my screen, obviously the checkout that I showed you here, it was just empty fields which the client then entered. And that's typically the process that the client would go through if they landed on your website and they wanted to make a payment via the website. Whereas because here you're requesting a payment from the client, all of that initial information here has already been filled in for the client. So all they need to do now is then pay using their digital wallet, so Apple Pay or Google Pay, or they just enter their card information as before. And from there, the process is the same. There's strong customer authentication enabled on the checkout. The client's brought to a successful confirmation page once that payment's complete. And again, they get emailed a firm branded email receipt at the end of the process. So the key difference there is really just around making sure that if you want to optimize for the quickest client payment times, that actually you just give the client a checkout with all the information filled in for them, and they can just pay that straight away from their mobile, half an eye on Britain's Got Talent or whatever they're doing in the evening, and just making sure that you're giving the client payment options that align with their kind of expectations now about how they want to interact with your business.
Great, thanks, Lauren. I will remember to present again. Okay, great. So individualized checkout there, and the client can make a payment. So in terms of the different, the life cycle of that payment, Lauren, maybe you could talk us through some of these statuses that they're going to see for each payment request.
Yeah, so once they've sent the link out to the client, that will read as pending, and that just means that the client has yet to make a payment. So if the client has made a payment successfully, that will then pop up as green and a tick to say that that's been paid. And then finally, if the client pays by another means, so let's say the client paid using a check or something, which was outside of the legal process, you still have a mechanism by which to mark that off as being paid. And that would be the manual green tick here that you see as marked paid. And then marked closed just means that you've shut that link off. So it could be that the client is no longer, if you'd sent the client a payment request for money on account, and actually that client's not going to go on to instruct your firm for whatever reason, there's still a way that you can shut that link off there. And then the final one at the bottom is transferred. And that means that the amount that the client has paid has actually been received into your nominated account. So if you guys currently use card payment means in your current firms, there's a payout schedule, and that payout schedule is consistent across all different card types with legal. And what I mean by that is if the client pays using a Visa or using a MasterCard or using Amex, you'll always receive those payments on the same schedule. And as soon as that money actually hits your account, whether it's client account or office account or whatever bank account you choose to connect, that will then show up as transferred here. And just to kind of emphasize here that as soon as the money is received, as in it's transferred, we will send the accounts team at your law firm a daily transfer summary, which breaks down all of the money that was received into that account. So let's say you received £20,000 that day, and that was across 21,000 pound payments. We will break down that aggregate amount of 20k for you into the individual payments there, so you can very easily and simply reconcile those payments in line with your kind of in a timely way, or whatever the guidance says there.
Great, thanks, Lauren. It's also possible to see all payment requests across your practice, so not just focusing on a case, which you can see here in this screen. And you're able to filter that down either by individual cases or by reference or by status. So let me just explain a bit more about those filters. So when you're filtering by case, it uses our usual search engine, so you can quickly get to your recent cases, or you can search for any case in particular. So you might have a client ringing up to check to see whether, or you're chasing up a client about payment. Filtering by reference, you can filter by any of the individual references you put in, and also the transfer reference. So this is in relation to what Lauren's just been talking about. So you're going to be getting your email through for your transfer that day by each card type, and that's going to have a transfer reference. So by having the filter in here, you can simply filter by that transfer reference and actually reconcile that against all of the payment requests made against that transfer reference here. And again, you can filter by status. So really that's about getting that visibility from within Quill of all your payment requests for different timescales and by different filters. And then one final thing, so in terms of those payment request options, you might want to remind a client, you know, if it's still pending, you might want to send that link. You might have a reminder schedule, so you can easily from within Quill just recopy that payment request link and send it again to the client. And again, within Quill, you can mark it as paid if they have paid by a mechanism outside of the legal platform, or mark it as closed where you're wanting to shut off that link. And also you can simply get into the legal world to get more analytics data about all of your payment requests. So that really is all of the screens in terms of integrating with a legal solution. So maybe, Lauren, you'd just like to wrap up to cover the real benefits of this payment solution.
Brilliant, thanks, Harry. So the first point on this slide is just around the customer experience, and I think I've already rattled on about this quite a lot today, but I think what the pandemic has shown is that consumer, as in your client's behavior, has really changed over the course of the pandemic. And I'm sure that everyone on this call can relate, whether it's like buying your shopping online or doing a gym workout online, whatever it might be, there's been a real shift in terms of behavior over the last 18 months. So increasingly, your clients are really expecting the level of service from your firm that they've come to expect and experience in other industries like finance or insurance, or even, you know, buying a car or whatever it might be. And so what this enables you to do is to really deliver best-in-class client experience that enables you to meet your clients' kind of changing demands. And what clients really want to be able to do is just to pay for things at the touch of a button in a really simple, streamlined way. So the upshot, as I said earlier, of doing it in a really seamless, frictionless way for your client is that what we see are much quicker client payment times. Now, on a previous webinar, I think Julian from Quill shared that the average invoice payment time across all the Quill customers was on average 6 weeks. Now, one thing that I'm really keen to emphasize to everyone on this call is that the average client payment time when using a payment request with legal is 17 hours. So the effect that this can have on your business is really, really dramatic. And obviously we can share a report that we've done on this around the kind of impacts on cash flow for law firms' businesses. But what it really means is that you have more cash in your business to deploy on various things. So whether it's hiring, whether it's technology, whether it's marketing and business development budget, whatever it might be, having that improved cash flow position can really help to unlock business growth. And the thing that's on the bottom there around the safety and security is something that I often kind of speak to law firms about, especially where they currently take card payments over the phone. So with Legal, you can bring all of your card payment options under one roof. And by that, I mean, you have the checkout, you have the ability to send the payment request links. You can also do phone payments via a secure terminal. And what's really key here is that we move law firms away from some of the more traditional practices, like basically taking down card details on a call and then keying those into a separate physical terminal. So with Legal, all of the card information is encrypted. So all you would see as a law firm is the last 4 digits of the client's card and the type of card that they paid on. So your staff, for example, if you've got some junior team members who are helping to take payments from clients, it's really critical for your general firm risk management and risk management processes that you don't have team members who have access to the client's full card information and security number attached to their card. So doing things in an online way enables you to remove some of the risks associated with doing phone payments that I just kind of alluded to. And then in terms of the enhanced oversight, Harry mentioned this earlier, but what you get with Legal is a very detailed view of the average time that it takes for your clients to make a payment. So if you are using payment requests with Legal, you can track exactly how long it takes for a client to make a payment in your dashboard. We also enable you to track month to month or week to week or whatever date range you want to use. What volume of payments are you receiving and what amount of payments are you receiving? And what that again enables you to do is actually to have a better understanding and better forecasting. So you can start to track things like seasonality. You can start to track things like, what kind of cash position you've been in the previous 3 months and kind of extrapolate that forward for what the cash position might look like for the next 3 months. So all of these things are just helping you to have an enhanced oversight over what you're doing as a business. Obviously, doing things in a more online way, firstly, aligns with client expectations, but it also means that you're not printing and posting documents to the client, which in and of itself can cause delays to payments being received. If you've raised an invoice and you want to get that across to the client, you want to do it that same day with a payment request attached with a view to that getting paid in under 24 hours. And obviously, if you're not printing and posting documents, there's a huge amount of man hours that are saved there by preventing your team from having to go through the admin around those processes and just doing things online instead. There is obviously a postage cost attached to sending all invoices and things via the post. And then finally on this slide, it is just about having that really tight connection with Quill, so that whatever you're doing in your Quill dashboard, there's a really seamless link to Legal if you need to log into Legal for whatever reason. And again, Harry mentioned there's a completely seamless process to get from Quill into Legal. So you don't need to log in, you'll just get connected and put through straight to your Legal account. And it also means that with the ability to generate the payment requests from Quill, you have all that information within Quill already about the total amount that the client needs to pay, and you can just fire that off to the client quickly and seamlessly. So that was a quick recap on this slide, but if you're going to take away anything from the call today, I think it's really important to just consider how much quicker your clients could make payments if you used more digital ways of working. And if you do it in this way where you're leveraging really quick and frictionless ways for clients to make payments, actually just tracking in the first kind of month of using Legal, how much quicker did those invoices come through? And it does mean that you can immediately see the benefit to the bottom line in terms of getting that cash in the door quicker.
Brilliant, thanks, Lauren. I think I was just reflecting on how much quicker I will pay a bill. If I receive an email with a link, I will pay it there and then. If I receive an email that has an attachment that I have to read and get the bank account details off it and the amount and then log into my online account, you can bet your bottom dollar I'm not going to do it right now and then I'll forget. So
Harry,
you can all relate to it.
My favorite story on this is just that so I broke my back door on Christmas Day, as you do, and had to call out an absurdly expensive locksmith to come and fix my back door, and he didn't have any kind of like quick and simple payment mechanisms. And if you're looking to pay someone new via online banking, you have to set up a new payee. And it took me, I'm not joking, an hour and 15 minutes to find my card reader because it was in the bottom of a drawer somewhere that I'd forgotten about, because I'm so used to paying for everything by card now. I literally never set up a new kind of online bank transfer. But anyway, that whole experience highlighted to me how much easier and simpler it would have been if he had just enabled me to just pay a button using Apple Pay. So that definitely resonates with me, Harry.
Great. Okay. Laura, maybe you could just cover off how people can get started and maybe the costings involved, and then we can wrap up with some questions. We're getting some questions come in on the chat at the moment.
Brilliant. So there's two links here, so you can register either from Quill or you can click the link there to get taken straight to Legal. The really key thing in terms of getting started with Legal is that it's very quick and simple, and would strongly encourage you to do that now so that we can get you set up with your legal account, so that we can connect your relevant bank account so that everything's ready to go. You can start using payment requests straight away when you sign up with Legal. And actually, we did a webinar about a couple of weeks ago now, and quite a few Quill customers signed up. One of the firms that did sign up sent a payment request link for £5,000 and received it paid in about 23 minutes or something after doing that. So, you know, there's no point in delaying getting started. It can immediately start getting those invoices paid, particularly as I'm sure a lot of you are in the middle of a billing cycle or coming up to a billing cycle now. And effectively, all you need to do to get started is to create your legal account, which is very straightforward, takes a minute or so, and to connect your firm's bank accounts. And for that, you will need either your finance director to do that or someone from the management team at your law firm. Once you've completed that bank account connect process, you're up and ready to go. You'll have a dedicated point of contact at Legal who will help you in the first instance to generate your payment request links or to provide you with any information that you might need about getting that checkout up and running on your website if you want to put it on your website. Harry, I think you have a slide on pricing, which I can talk to. Perfect. So the cost of using Legal is £20 a month. And that gives you the firm branded checkout, which you can put on your website, link to in invoices, link to in your email signature, use to generate payment request links. And you also will have an unlimited number of users at your firm. So for the £20 a month, you can have everyone at your firm set up with a legal account. It also includes all of the different payment options that I alluded to earlier. So you have the ability to take phone payments, you have the ability to put the payments portal, that firm branded checkout on your website. You also have the ability to generate those pre-populated payment request links. And then finally, we will provide you with the out-the-box insights dashboards that I mentioned earlier that actually enable you to track how many payments are being received and the average time that it takes for a client to make a payment. So all of that is included in the £20 a month. You'll see there's two different card payment processing fees here. So as mentioned before, these are not deducted at source. We will bill you separately for the payment processing fees. So this is in line with obviously law firm and your kind of rules around the client account. If the client sends you £500, you need to receive £500 into that account. And the difference here between the rates is that for Amex and international cards, the cost of processing those payments is higher. You have the option at the firm level as to whether you want to accept UK and European cards only, and that includes credit and debit cards across consumers and businesses, excluding Amex. And if you do want to also include Amex and rest of the world international cards, then there's the higher payment processing fee there, but you have the option as to whether you accept Amex and rest of the world international cards.
Right, thank you, Lauren. Okay, so I think we're over to any questions. Just excuse me, I'm just checking in the chat. So we've got a question from Ben, which was also echoed by Steve, in regard to, could we clarify how payments from third parties are dealt with? Lauren, is that something you can pick up? And Ben and Steve, if you feel you need to explain any more, please do unmute yourself and just chime in.
So just on this point, when the client has to go through the checkout process, so let's say you have the checkout on your website, and I showed you before there's the different fields that the client has to complete there. And those fields can be exactly what you need as a law firm to reconcile the payment. But what's really key is that we conduct standard data validation against those checkout fields. So the best example I can give here is if your invoice number, let's say, is AB 12345 is the format. So character, and then 5 numbers. The client has to enter in that format in order to proceed to the next step. So only clients of the firm who have the information about their invoice reference number, their matter reference number, their client reference number, whatever unique identifier you're going to use, are going to be able to go through that payment process. And the real benefit of Legal is the payment request links with the pre-filled checkout that go directly to your client, which Harry was showing you how to do from your Quill dashboard. That again can help to mitigate payments from third parties. Ben and Steve, if you want to come off mute, I imagine we're talking about the kind of situation here where, for example, someone's aunt or uncle or grandma sort of pays an invoice on their behalf. Is that what you were getting at here?
Yes, it was.
So in that instance, you can either, just do the relevant client due diligence on that party to make sure that you're happy to receive those funds. You can also issue refunds via Legal as well. But the key thing that we're trying to do here is to minimize those payments coming through in the first place, and also to make sure that you have all of the information that you need to attach that payment to the matter or to the client. So we're avoiding the situation that can often arise with things like bank transfers, where frankly there's no invoice number, there's no reference number, you don't really know where that payment came from. So with Legal, you'll have that real-time dashboard that shows you all the different payments. You'll have the information to associate that payment to a specific matter or to a specific client. And as the client goes through the process of going through the checkout, they cannot proceed to the payment step unless they have those unique identifiers, which you will have provided to them in your kind of client care letters, if it's money on account, or in your invoice, in the kind of body of your invoice, or the email attached with the invoice when you send it out to them.
Did that answer your question, Steve and Ben?
Yes, thank you very much.
Hi,
Great.
sorry, it's my name's Lynn. I'm under someone else's name. Yeah, well, we're a probate firm, so anything that we need to collect from our clients' accounts, is that going to cause an issue?
Anything? Sorry, Lynn, can you just say that again for me?
Yeah, we're a probate firm, so we have to collect funds from the client's accounts to close the accounts. Is that going to be an issue, getting the funds in from them?
So when you say the client
deceased's accounts, sorry, should I say?
Okay. So in the usual circumstance there, Lynn, do you have to do some kind of additional kind of I guess anti-money laundering due diligence before you can accept those funds?
Oh, sorry, I'm only in the accounts department, so I'm not a solicitor, so I don't know on that side.
Well, I don't imagine, I don't, Lynn, maybe we can pick this up afterwards, because I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to answer the question here. I'm not super au fait with collecting funds from the deceased account in the context of wills and probate. I'm sure I can get an answer for you, but I imagine that the process wouldn't be dissimilar as long as the person who was making the payment had the information that was required for you to reconcile that payment, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll talk after then.
Perfect. Thanks, Lynn.
All right, I'm just seeing if we've got any more questions. Is there a question from Diana? Diana, do you want to take yourself off mute? Or I can just read out the question, which was, can you add...
Sorry.
Go for it, Diana.
Yes, thank you. So we take a lot of, I guess, if we're paying out disbursements on behalf of clients, if they then pay us by card, we'll obviously have the transaction fee for money that we're then paying straight out. So the question is whether we can then, for those kind of payments where it's for disbursements and rather than our fees, can we add a transaction fee to it?
So my general understanding, Dana, is that no, you can't pass on the cost of the payment processing fee onto the client. And that is I can't remember the name of the case now, but there was some kind of decision that was basically that, you know, you can't basically pass on that payment processing fee cost onto the consumer. I think you can charge your clients like a general sort of admin fee, but it can't be specifically that you're passing on the payment processing cost, if that makes sense. I think in those circumstances, I mean, a lot of the firms that we work with do take the payment of money on account, even in those situations, because it just massively expedites the whole file opening process and the whole kind of matter management process. And that just impacts their bottom line in terms of efficiencies and things anyway. But again, I'm happy to kind of share examples and things with you, Diana, if that's helpful.
Yeah, that would be, because it's just in respect of money that we then just pay straight out, so that we don't lose basically by people paying on card. Because if they do it by bank transfer at the moment, then it's less of an issue. But if we have more people paying this way by card, then it's going to increase the cost of that.
100%.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Diana. We'll pick that up outside as well. Question from Shelley. Are you able to unmute yourself?
So sorry, I've got Shelley's question open here, Harry.
Okay,
so
great.
it's around being able to make payments to beneficiaries using Legl. So I don't think, Shelley, that we can't facilitate that. So what you can do with Legl is it's really just a mechanism for you to receive digital payments from clients rather than being able to make payments out to third parties from Legl. So to answer your question, Shelley, no, we won't be able to help to make payments to beneficiaries via Legl.
Did that answer your question, Shelley? And are there any more questions in the chat, Neil? No further questions coming. Has anybody got any questions they'd just like to raise? If so, please take yourself off mute and just chime in. Nothing? Okay, well, we had an hour scheduled, and I think it's coming up to around 50 minutes. So if there's no further questions, thank you very much for giving your time today. We appreciate it. We know everyone's got busy days, and look forward to seeing some sign-ups with Legl and getting your payments coming in quicker. Lauren, have you got anything else to add?
Thanks, Harry. No, it was really lovely to speak to everyone again. If you have any questions that you want to follow up with about how Legl works in practice, or you want to kind of see it in action, please just drop me a line. I'm very happy to help with that. It's just lauren@legl.com is my email address if I can help with anything there.
Great. Okay, well, if there's nothing further, thank you guys, and see you next time.
Thanks, Harry. Bye-bye.
Bye.